LED, AMOLED, etc. I was talking to somebody and he quickly went and found all about AMOLED before we had finished the sentence that AMOLED devices are now very popular. So in this kind of a scenario, we need to do something quite different. It will have to come from the teachers, because unlike what many people tend to believe or worry, etc., that the task of the teacher will become irrelevant, actually teachers will become more important than ever before. I dare to say, and not many people believe me yet, that teachers will be the superstars of tomorrow. They will be much more important than the Hrithik Roshans and the Shah Rukh Khans and so on, because the kind of appeal that they will have once they are available is huge. Korea has a company where they take regular, ordinary cramming kind of teachers and created a thing about that. And some of the teachers are getting $2 million a year by just doing what they were doing in a classroom. Because what you do in a classroom, you can now do for millions of people in many different ways. So the second is largely about that. I've tried to create a lot of examples and demonstrations here, not very complete demonstrations because that would take a long time, but at least you have a glimpse of it. And to that extent, I think this program is like no other program which has ever been done. So I begin with talking about pedagogical potential and limitations, try to cover it. Then Vishal Singhal is talking about a very interesting research he has done, and I think, again, the only research of its kind in India, where he's talked about how people are responding to the educational usages of mobile and handheld devices. We can draw our own conclusions from that, and I think the broad conclusion that we can see is that while these devices now are very popular, their educational use is extremely limited, and therefore there is huge potential for using that. We then have a very special session by Anurag Vish, who's come in from US. He's one of our own, having studied in IIT Kanpur. And since everybody talks about people being commercially successful, he created a company and sold it for $800 million to Intel. So what we are asking him to do, and obviously we can't learn all the electronics and engineering that he does, so we are asking him to talk about innovation, creativity, and how we can nurture the next Steve Jobs in our schools. And the fact of the matter is that now, the way things are, it's no longer in Silicon Valley alone that you will have innovators and entrepreneurs. They could be from anywhere, Gonda, Behraij, Kalikat, Champavat, name it, whatever you want, because that's the kind of a thing that is possible. So we have. Then of course we have a number of people who are in the business. We have Prof, which has been doing this for a long time. We hope somewhere to have Vivek Agarwal's team from English Edge to demonstrate English Laboratory. We have Satish Jha from OLPC. I don't see him here, but we've slated him for talking about the original handheld learning device. The original handheld learning device was by Nicholas Negroponte with the project called One Laptop Per Child, then called EXO, the Sugar platform, and so on. It's been successful worldwide. Only in India, the minister come out and didn't like Nicholas Negroponte. He wasn't humble enough. After all, in there he was a mere professor. But he didn't behave like one of the academics, and the ministers didn't like him. So they kind of banned OLPC, and they got fascinated by a wrong aspect of the OLPC that was $100. So let's make something cheaper. So they first came with a $10 stock, which very quickly they realized is not worth even talking about. Now they've raised the price to $30. They've created something which we can well imagine what it would be. The point we are trying to get to is that it's not the cost of a device, it's not the tablets, it's not the internet access, it's the learning which will matter. And therefore, the focus is how do we make them as learning devices, and that's the thing that we want to talk about. And you have some very interesting things, again I think for the first time, where Xbox Kinect will be demonstrated to you not as a gaming device, but as a learning device. Because one of the limitations of traditional e-learning was that you couldn't do anything about gestures and things we have to do with hands, technician training, surgery training, etc. Xbox Kinect kind of transforms that into, it's still the very beginning, but it will open an idea on what kind of things can we do in technician training, vocational training.